Cancel culture isn't real in 2023. And here's why. Because when canceling started in 2018, it started with some of the worst predators and horrible people you can possibly think of. Let people like Harvey Weinstein, who just like completely abused their power and had done so for many, many years, and basically just ruined the lives of hundreds of women. And it was really right that Harvey Weinstein lose his career because obviously that's not okay. And somebody who's that horrible shouldn't have the ability to have a career. That happened. And then it started the movement of Me Too, where other sexual assaulters started getting canceled as well for sexually assaulting people. Now, all of these people, it's not exactly clear what it is, but for the most part, like, they did do sexually harassing things, but they didn't do things to the level of Harvey Weinstein. They still debatably deserve to lose their career or have a slap on the wrist because they hurt people, but at the same time, it wasn't as bad as the Harvey Weinstein allegations. But after this point, it was just like a melting glacier where like once those people who did lesser real things, then they started going for people who didn't do that bad things. And then they started canceling people like Aziz Ansari, who literally nothing happened between him and a girl except like they had kind of an awkward date encounter. And it was posted on this like really disreputable third-party website, and he lost his career. And this is where the fear really set into Hollywood, where Hollywood felt like they had to like get rid of anybody who even remotely could be considered like worthy of cancellation. And that's where like the term of cancel culture really came in, because Aziz Ansari didn't do anything wrong. He didn't hurt anybody. He was literally just a little creepy to a girl on a date. But that's not worth losing your entire career in comedy for. And he had like a special after that, but I would argue that his career has never been the same since. Like he had this show called Master of None that was like really huge before he got canceled. And then there was a new season, but it was horrible. Like it was like he basically fell out of the public consciousness. Now compare that to YouTubers. So YouTubers do get canceled all the time, like Logan Paul for the Suicide Forest in Japan and David Dobrik for, I guess, being friends with a guy who raped a girl in one of his vlogs, and then he tried to cover it up. And people called for the cancellation of these creators. Like people wanted Logan Paul to lose his entire channel. They wanted David to never post another vlog again. But the difference between Logan Paul and David and Aziz Ansari is a comedian, okay? Like his career requires him to be booked at clubs, booked at shows, and he works in the entertainment industry. His career requires him to have like to have somebody give him permission, basically. Like somebody at Netflix had to give him the show Master of None in order for him to have that sort of career. Whereas nobody gave Logan Paul permission to be a YouTuber. He just did it by daily uploading for years. And once he did that, the daily uploading led him to the Japanese Suicide Forest, and then people really hated him. But at the same time, like, it was entirely in his hands. He could have posted a vlog the next day if he wanted to. He didn't because he had like a PR team and he was worried about XYZ. But nobody was stopping him from posting his next vlog. That was just him. Same with David. Like, David got canceled because of stuff during COVID because of the Frenemies podcast, but David could have posted a vlog to his channel if he wanted to, or a TikTok or whatever. He just chose not to because of his PR team. That's the big difference, because David and Logan both still have careers. Aziz Ansari, I would argue, doesn't have a career anymore. Like, actually, Logan has done worse things since the Japanese Suicide Forest incident, like scam his fans of millions of dollars, all sorts of like manipulation, extortion, stuff like that. But it just gets swept under the rug because Logan understands that because he controls his platform, and because honestly people are kind of like, you can choose not to watch a content creator. obviously. Like, you can be turned off by a content creator. Like, I used to watch H3 Productions, for example, but his podcast is just like so toxic and negative. And like, I stopped watching him because every time I watched like Frenemies or whatever, I literally felt worse about myself and about the world. Like, his content made me feel bad. So I stopped watching. But like, for YouTubers, because they control their platform and because they can post on their platform as much as they want, there's nobody there to stop them except for each individual member of the audience. And like, people on Twitter can like talk shit and whatever, but like, that's why like being a YouTuber is like so much better than being an actor or being a producer or being a writer. Because I'm not saying like I did stuff that was worthy of cancellation, but just imagine, like, if you're a producer or an actor or a writer, or even if you have like any sort of like job in which you have a boss, like you work at a bank, for example, or you work at like a production company, like a management company, because somebody has given you permission to be there, but through your contract, your W-2, stuff like that, it means that they can take it away from you. It means that they can fire you, essentially. But the thing is, YouTubers are, we don't like to think of them like this, but they really are entrepreneurs. They're CEOs of their own business. And because they're CEOs of their own business, it doesn't matter like what they do, as long as people are still consumers of the business. A great example of this is Elon Musk. Like, last year, a bunch of allegations came out about Elon Musk sexually assaulting people on his private jets. And like, those sources are there. I'm not going to like go through all the work to get them, but like, just search Elon Musk private jet massage something. Like, it's like all the allegations are there. But Elon didn't get canceled. Why? Because Elon is the boss of all of his businesses. He's the CEO of Tesla, he's not the CEO of Twitter anymore. But the point of the matter is, like, he has control over his life. And anybody who has control over their life, it's so interesting because I think like you can do all manner of horrible shit and people will still watch you and consume you as long as your product is good. Like, Teslas are a great product. Like, my dad is a Tesla. Like, it is like a great car. It's so cool. It feels like you're in a spaceship. And honestly, like, I talked to my dad about, Elon Musk sexual assault stuff, but I didn't tell him to like get rid of the Tesla. That's ridiculous. And the same thing happens to YouTubers. And so what's so interesting about like content in 2023 is it really is all the same at this point. Like, content is all the same. Like going to a movie, like going to see the Marvels is now, at least for me, I view it as the same investment as me watching a YouTube video that's an hour and a half, like from a creator like Wendigoon. And even though they're completely different types of things, like the Marvels tries to tell a story, badly, I might add, but the Marvels tries to tell a story, and Wendigoon is more of like a summary of various things on an iceberg. At the same time, like, it really is all content. Like, it's all time investment. I've been so conscious of like time lately and like how I spend my time. And like, I've really felt, I'm 25, but like, I've really felt like I need to set up structures in such a way that I don't waste time, because time is so precious. And yet in the content era, our time is so valuable. Our time is worth so much money. Like, Mr. Beast is going to make like $120 million this year. And he's on a compounding effect, which means next year he's going to make like $300 million. Following year, he's going to make like over $600 million. He's going to be a billionaire in he probably already is a billionaire, honestly, because of brand deals and merch. But through AdSense, he's going to be a billionaire if he keeps growing by 2030. And Mr. Beast, I don't mean to get dark because he has such a clean image, but Mr. Beast could literally do whatever he wants as long as it's not illegal and as long as like YouTube doesn't like yeet him off the platform, and nobody would care. Like, Mr. Beast, because Logan Paul still has his channel, it means that Mr. Beast could scam people to the same degree that Logan Paul scammed people, and he could still post videos and people wouldn't care. Like, the only thing that I think could get Mr. Beast actually canceled off his platform is if he did something akin to Andrew Tate, where he like created a ton of like political division while at the same time being an actual criminal who like sex traffics people. So as long as Mr. Beast doesn't go that far, like as long as he's not like literally running like a illegal criminal ring, nobody can stop him. And that's what makes him so powerful. And I think like I used to work in Hollywood. I used to, I interned at like a management company, and then I was like this like very, very low paid associate producer working with like a more established producer for 3-4 years while I was in college. And the plan when I graduated college was to like move out to Los Angeles and like be a producer. But at the same time, like I haven't done anything in my life that I think like would warrant being canceled, especially now in this climate. But I always loved YouTube, and I kind of feel like now being a YouTuber is better than being in the traditional entertainment industry because it's permissionless, because it's not based on any because it's not based on anything. Like you can produce YouTube videos as long as they're good, and people will watch them no matter what. Obviously, like if you get too set in your ways, or like your brand dies out and you become irrelevant, that's another thing. Like as a YouTuber, unlike getting a cushy TV contract, you will fail if you don't make good content. Like there are shows on Netflix, for example, who like they have some good episodes, but ultimately like it's not that good. But it'll get renewed because of various reasons. And as a YouTuber, you're only as good as your last video. Like I don't care that Mr. Beast did the Buried Alive video when he did that like shitty laser maze video. And yes, I have opinions about Mr. Beast. I'm actually not a hater. I think he's really great, and I like him better than I was a PewDiePie fan too. I think he's a better and more responsible number one than PewDiePie is. But PewDiePie is another great example, right? PewDiePie said the N-word. PewDiePie said a bunch of Nazi shit in his videos, and nobody canceled him. Or like people tried to cancel him, and he lost a deal with Disney. But actually, I think PewDiePie's deal with Disney is a great example of like the entertainment industry trying to get its claws into a YouTuber and failing, right? Because PewDiePie had a YouTube Red show called Scare PewDiePie Season 2 that was going to come out that got canceled when he said the Nazi shit. And he had a deal with Disney that got canceled because he said the Nazi shit. But he still had his audience, and he still had his channel on YouTube, and he was getting millions of views a day. Like honestly, millions of views a day, like that's so much money. Like that's like $4,000 a day. If you get 1 million views a day, it's about $4,000. Like if you have $4 CPM, which is like the average for an American channel. I bet PewDiePie and some of the premium channels get an even higher CPM than that. But the point of the matter is like, you can't cancel a YouTuber. If a YouTuber, like, obviously being a YouTuber sucks. Like, especially a small YouTuber. Like, my last video got like 50 views. Like, I have friends who have like real jobs, real relationships, getting married, whatever. And it fucking sucks. Like, and just like having your own business sucks. Like, you have to work all the time. I don't have time for friends a lot of the time, except for people who do YouTube. And then like, those people, like, they need to be getting value from me, so I need to be researching, getting forward momentum all the time. But at the same time, like, I still don't think anybody even understands how big being a YouTuber is, how big having a platform on social media is, because you're basically like, if you have 1 million people tuning into you every day to listen to what you say, like you're basically a demigod. You can influence elections, you can influence economies, you can influence anything. Like, and it's so much better than being a fucking celebrity, who, by the way, all of them are trying to be like influencers. Like The Rock, when he's on Instagram, he's trying to be like an influencer. He's trying to like have a brand around, like, I don't even know what The Rock's brand is, but like he has the tequila, he has the energy drink. Like he's trying to like have like a shorthand with his audience the way that YouTubers do. And it's so interesting the way that like a celebrity just isn't interesting to me anymore in the same way that a YouTuber is. So a good example is Euphoria, right? Like Euphoria is a classic example of like a show that, like, if it came out in the 90s, it would have ushered in the next generation of stars. And to a degree, it has, right? Like Jacob Elordi was in that Elvis movie. Obviously Zendaya is super famous. She was in the Spider-Man movies after Euphoria. Sydney Sweeney, like she was in The White Lotus. Like Alexa Demi hasn't been in anything, but I'm sure she'll be in stuff soon. Like there are like opportunities that came to those kids after Euphoria, but it's nothing compared to Mr. Beast. It's nothing compared to David Dobrik. Like, they're so much bigger in terms of their cultural impact than celebrities who are in things. Because if you think about it, like, like Zendaya in Euphoria, like, people always say, like, oh, I love her. But you don't love Zendaya. You love the characters that she plays, which is written by somebody who is not her, right? Compare that to PewDiePie or David Dobrik or Mr. Beast. Like, yes, they have teams of people that help them make their videos, but it's them. Like, they're portraying themselves. Like, I don't believe that David Dobrik is faking his personality. I think Mr. Beast, like, he edits his videos in such a way that his personality is downplayed, but I don't think, like, when he goes on podcasts and talks about stuff, he's being ungenuine. And because of that, it's so interesting that, like, people in the entertainment industry just still have their heads in the sand. So I'm going to kind of get in trouble for this, but, like, only, like, 10 people are going to see this podcast anyway. So I went to Vid Summit a couple months ago, beginning of October. And I met Airrack's head of hiring. So Airrack is this, like, big YouTuber. He's kind of falling off lately. He's doing this, like, dumb, like, daily series that I don't think anybody cares about. But, like, he has, like, a head of hiring who comes from Hollywood. And he's, like, this, like, he's a 40-year-old man, bald, like, old guy, right? And they had this whole stunt where they were, like, trying to get people on the team for Airrack, where they had these, like, big mafia guys there. And I thought it was an entertaining event. I had, like, a funny conversation with the mafia guys. But then I went to talk to Airrack's head of hiring. And I pitched him an idea for an Airrack video. He didn't like it, whatever. But then I asked him, I said, like, do you think that YouTubers are going to replace celebrities? Like, do you think the entertainment industry is going to be entirely replaced by content creators? And what he said is, like, no, like, it's going to be a hybrid. It's going to be half content creators, half normal celebrities. And I think he's right. Like, I think in terms of prediction, he's right. Like, I think for the next 10 years, there's still going to be a real entertainment industry. But why would Airrack's head of hiring, like, why would you want someone to work for your org who doesn't believe that you can be bigger than the biggest celebrities? Like, Airrack has talked time and time again about how he wants to be the biggest YouTuber, but it seems like the people he's hiring, because they're from entertainment, they don't understand that being a YouTuber is so much bigger, so much better than anything related to the celebrity industry. I don't give a fuck about, like, the Will Smith, Jada Smith drama. Like, who gives a shit at the end of the day? It's like, oh, they're sad, whatever. Like, who gives a shit? Like, of course they're sad. And people are like, oh, I had no idea this was happening. Of course you don't, because every single Will Smith line that you've seen in a movie was written by somebody else. You've never seen Will Smith's true voice. And so, of course, he's going to act in a way that's strange to you. And same with all the other celebrities. It's like, the celebrities, you don't know them. The YouTubers, you also don't know them. Like, you're being a parasocial freak. But you're seeing more of them. You're seeing more of their personality than you would in, like, a celebrity context. And so because of that, like, being a YouTuber is just so much more powerful if you can sustain it. If you can't sustain it, it's not more powerful. But if you can sustain being a YouTuber the way that, like, David has, like, you are untouchable. You literally are untouchable. Like, David could, like, rape 20 women tomorrow, and it could come out and everyone would be like, David Dobrik rapist. And he would still have his platform. He would still be making money. And I think, like, I'm going to get into, like, the Ye stuff, but, like, you know how Ye said that he could say stuff about, like, death to all Jews and Adidas still wouldn't drop him, and then they did, and it was, like, funny, it was whatever. If Ye wasn't in the music industry, and if he was a YouTuber instead, I don't think he would have been canceled in the way that he was. I don't think he would lose his stuff, because YouTubers don't get signed by Adidas anyway. So he would have built his shoe brand from the ground up the way that, like, somebody like Calix did, No Two Ways, like an original shoe brand that this, like, kind of irrelevant British YouTuber Calix did. But, like, Calix is making good money off of that. And he gets, like, only 1 million views per video, and he posts, like, 4 times a year. Like, this is, like, if Ye had been a YouTuber and he hadn't just, like, signed a deal with Adidas. Instead, he had just, like, made his own fashion brand from the ground up. He could have said all that shit about Jews, and the only thing that YouTube could have done is taken him off their platform, which, like, I think if you spread like a lot of really hateful rhetoric, YouTube actually will remove your channel because it's just like, it's not worth it for them. Like they don't want any more like ISIS beheading videos on their platform. But what I'm just saying is, as a YouTuber, like people like Logan Paul have it right. Like as much as I hate Logan Paul and think he's a scumbag, like they have it right. Like Logan Paul never stopped posting. Like he still posts even though people hate his guts. And that's a good thing because Logan can pretty much do whatever he wants. Like he can do the Prime brand. That was a huge success, but like he doesn't seem happy. I'll say that. He doesn't seem happy. And his girlfriend's a fucking slut, but like so is he. So it's like whatever. But at the same time, like he can do whatever he wants career-wise. He could start a beer brand tomorrow. He could do movies. He could write and direct his own movies and put them on his channel. He could do whatever he wants. And I think that people are just now waking up to the level of influence. I am one of the first people from like the Hollywood entertainment industry to like leave it for pursuit of a YouTube channel, but I'm definitely not going to be the last. And if you're watching this and you're in the entertainment industry, you probably aren't, but like if you're watching this and you're in the entertainment industry and you think that you might want to switch to the content industry, just take it from me. It's worth it. I've learned so much making YouTube videos. I've improved so much as my personality. And the best part is like my channels, like I'm so proud of them. Like nobody can take them away from me. And like, that's the best. Like it's so great to have your own platform where you can speak your mind and you can talk about the stuff you want to do. And maybe like if your character isn't like very self-starting, like if you're not very creative in terms of like ideas and stuff, like it's not for you and you'd be better off in the entertainment industry. Certainly, there are still careers to be had in the entertainment industry. In fact, they need all the smart people they can get because they're going to be replaced with AI. But I'm just saying, like, the authenticity, the brand building, all that, like, being a YouTuber is so much better than being a celebrity. Okay, if you like this podcast, subscribe, leave a like below. I don't know if I'm going to do any more of these, but if you enjoyed, let me know. Bye.